They served on our behalf, but have we done enough for them when they come home? It's popular now to support the troops, but what do they really need from us? And how can we best help different generations of veterans? Tonight, if war is hell, how is it coming home? Stay tuned.
And on Stay Tuned, you drive the discussion. We bring local experts, journalists, and civic leaders together to have tough conversations for a stronger St. Louis. Tweet us your insights on tonight's topic, and you've got a seat at the table. With a few national experts and a panel of community members, this is the show bringing more light and less heat to the issues that matter. So stay tuned.
Three veterans at the table tonight to start us off and talk about veterans and the issues they are facing. We'll introduce them first. David Rogers, a fellowship program director with The Mission Continues, founded here in St. Louis as a nationwide organization. We'll talk more about that tonight. Jay Harden, Vietnam veteran, and you're a writer as well. And Russ Whitener, board member, POW MIA Museum at Jefferson Barracks. Right. Gentlemen, like we just said, if war is hell, how is it coming home?
Coming home is great, you know. It's but there's no transition. You know, you come from, in my case, I came from Vietnam, and 2 days later I was at home.
You were happy to be coming home.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
there was no transition there. You know, you were in one world and then you went to another world.
And what was the biggest challenge of that? What do you remember being the hardest?
Just you're reacquainting yourself with all the sights. You know, you're not used to them. You know, you've been gone so long. You know, different. Back then, you know, there were new restaurants coming up, fast food restaurants and things like that. You know, and it's just.
The world had changed.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you know, you're just amazed, you know, and you can't believe it, you know. You've been gone for a year, and then you come back, and I mean, it's great to be back, but you know, it's not like it was when you left it.
You know, those of us who haven't served can only imagine how hard it is to transition into military life. What's it like transitioning? We'll stick in the Vietnam era for a minute. What was it like transitioning back for you?
Well, you think you can come home again. That's the illusion, and you can't.
What do you mean?
Well, it's I was naive and thought that I could, after war, return to my former life, and that's a dream that can't be fulfilled. It's like once you lose your virginity, you can't reclaim it. So coming back from war is impossible. So you just deal with it. I was lucky in the Air Force because I came back as a unit. A whole bomb wing deployed and then came back together. You guys came back as individual people, as cannon fodder, interchangeable units in a war machine. So I came back as a unit, and we had a parade, we had a band. My wife was in the stands, pregnant, and they clapped, and we had a small celebration, and then I went directly back into flying missions, nuclear training missions. So I had it much better.
There was still structure.
It was structured. We were part of SAC, which we considered to be the elite part of the Air Force at that time. So we were very professional. We had a clear mission in Vietnam: take off here on time, land here on time, refuel here on time, this target on time. And if you did that, you succeeded. So it's very clear when we were successful.
David, you're nodding your head. We talk about how different it is today, but maybe some similarities in what you're hearing.
It sounds like it was just yesterday, you know. But 1 year ago today, I was boots on the ground in Afghanistan. I was helping coalition partners to usher in the first democratic election in Afghanistan's history. And I just returned 5 months ago. And so, you know, I faced challenges upon my reintegration. I'm serving in the Air Force Reserve still. And, you know, what you had said about returning back, and, you know, there's not much. You're immediately a civilian. That was my experience as a reservist. And so I came back, and I had just a few short hours of administrative duties, and then I was home. And so, you know, I had to come to terms with the challenges that I had seen, the challenging situations that I had encountered in Afghanistan, and being home again, you know, and coming to terms with what it was like to be safe, to 1 minute feel that, you know, my life could be in danger at any moment, and to come home and to hear a loud noise and to know that that's not a suicide bomber blowing up, that that's not an enemy rocket exploding near me. And it took some adjustments, and it will take adjustments. You know, one thing that I've learned through my work at the Mission Continues and speaking with veterans like you is that, you know, we can reintegrate quickly. We can reintegrate and find a job, maybe get enrolled in education, but that long-term role in the community, feeling a part of the community, connected to the community, coming to terms with the experiences you've had, that can take a lifetime. And so I'm honored to be able to work with the Mission Continues to help veterans to reintegrate quickly, make sure that we owe this generation of veterans more than we have in the past. That we help them to reintegrate and make a difference and do so more quickly. We owe that to them.
Are we done taking, we talk about taking care of our veterans today, are we done taking care of veterans of a previous generation?
Not at all.
There's work to be done?
Very much so. The healthcare system today, and I'm part of it, I meet weekly in a therapy group for Vietnam veterans dealing with traumatic stress. The system is adversarial. And most of the veterans who need help don't get it because the system is adversarial and it's too difficult. If you don't have somebody helping you as an advocate, either a lawyer or a veteran service organization or somebody, you're going to throw up your hands even if you try. But most veterans know what's going on in the VA system, and they just do not even attempt to get help.
And Jay, to even actually talk to that point, you know, one of the blessings for veterans today is there's so many resources available to veterans. There's so much available to them, and it'd be easy to take advantage of all the resources, but it's finding the resources, navigating the system, and finding that resource that can help get them to that sustainable point in their life. That's a challenge, finding that right resource.
Were there resources, Russ, when you came home? Did you feel like, did someone say, this is where you go when you need X, Y, and Z?
No,
Was there a parade?
Are you kidding me? I got a welcome home from my wife and my mom and dad, and that was it. You know, out at Lambert Air Force. And I was glad to get that, you know. I didn't expect a big parade or, you know, or whatever. I was just happy to be home, you know. And, you know, I had a pretty good homecoming because when I was on the airplane, from Seattle to St. Louis, I happened to be on the airplane with the Canucks hockey team. And one of the players came up and just as nice as he could be, he offered to leave me tickets and you know, at the gate that night, and I said, I don't think so. I said, I appreciate it, but you know, I got to spend time with my family, you know. And he said, well, you know, but
an international welcome home.
yeah, yeah.
But as I was asking you before, was there any system? Did you feel like there was any system in place?
No. Once I left, I didn't see any assistance out there whatsoever, you know. And I finally did find assistance through the vet center right down the road down here at Olive and Huntley Drive. I've been going down there for 9 years, I guess. Yeah, and I've got more out of that than anything else, you know. We meet, for a long time, we met every week, and then now we only meet every other week. And, you know, we discuss issues, and it really helped, you know. You realize that what you were dealing with inside, so was these other guys, you know. You weren't the only one.
And you said you started that 9 years ago.
Yeah.
You came home in 1970.
I came home in 1970, and for
1970.
so there was a lot of years there that you know, I told myself I was all right. I wasn't, you know.
That doesn't go away. I'll tell you, it took me a few months, right? You know, things seemed okay.
Yeah.
I seemed like a little different person, and then I noticed, you know, after a few months, I'm not quite the same person.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, it changes you.
yeah,
That's for sure.
it does.
You know, you leave part of yourself there.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, there's always going to be a part of you there. It don't make any difference. You know, you can be home, but you still got part of you there. You know.
Gentlemen, let's pause for 1 second because we want to get folks in on this conversation online with the hashtag Stay Tuned STL. We appreciate all of your time. We appreciate your service as well, but don't go too far. We're not done with you yet. Let's take a look online.